Xenoblade Chronicles, known in Japan as Xenoblade, is a Japanese action role-playing game developed by Monolith Soft and published by Nintendo for the Wii home console. Initially released in Japan in 2010, it later released in Europe in 2011, and was eventually released in North America in 2012. A port to the new Nintendo 3DS was released worldwide in 2015. Xenoblade Chronicles forms part of the Xeno meta-series, although no direct narrative connections exist to previous Xeno games, and incorporates aesthetic and narrative elements from both fantasy and science fiction. The game features navigation through an open-world, side quests tied to party members' affinity, and a real-time action-based battle system which incorporates the main character's ability to see glimpses of the future. Xenoblade Chronicles takes place on the frozen bodies of two warring gods, the Bionis and the Mechonis. The people of Bionis, including the human-like Homs, are in a perpetual war with the Machina machine race of Mechonis. Key to the Homs' efforts in fighting the Machina's Mechonami is the Monado, a sword said to have been wielded by the Bionis. In an attack on his colony, the main protagonist Shulk sees his childhood friend Fiora killed. Having discovered his ability to wield the Monado, he sets out on a quest for revenge. The concept for Xenoblade Chronicles originated in June 2006 when Tetsuya Takahashi visualized and then constructed a model of two giant gods frozen in place with people living on their bodies. Development began that year under the title Monado, the beginning of the world. It was eventually rebranded with its current title in honor of Takahashi's previous work. The script was worked on by Takahashi, anime writer Yuichiro Takeda, and in-house Nintendo writer Yuri Hattori. The music was handled by 6 different composers, including first-timer Minami Kiyotara and veteran Yoko Shimomura. The game was announced in 2009 under its original title, and released in Japan the following year. Despite releasing in Europe, its North American release remained unconfirmed until December 2011, during which time a fan campaign called Operation Rainfall had drawn considerable attention to the game. Upon release, the game received critical acclaim as one of the best recent role-playing games, while its port was praised for successfully recreating the game in portable form. It also met with commercial success in both Japan and the West. A spiritual successor by the same development team for the Wii U, Xenoblade Chronicles X, was released in 2015. Gameplay: Xenoblade Chronicles plays as a role-playing video game, where the player controls one character out of a party of 3 using the Wii Remote and Nunchuck or the classic controller. The game employs an open-world design, with players able to freely navigate seamlessly into connected environments. A day and nighttime cycle exists in the game, with the time of day often affecting in-game events, quests, enemy strengths, and item availability. For instance, stronger enemy types appear at night, while time flows automatically and a day cycle repeats about every 10 minutes in real time. Players can adjust the in-game clock to the desired time at any point. Additionally, while the game is about exploration, many areas, called landmarks, aid in traversing the land by serving as warp points, allowing the player to instantly return to that point at any time. The game also supports a Save Anywhere feature, where players can save at any point outside battle. The game also contains a New Game Plus mode, which pulls over much of the player's progress from their first playthrough into future playthroughs. Exploration, quest completion, and item collection are large parts of the gameplay. The player is encouraged to explore the large environments, which generally allow the player to visit whatever can be seen in the horizon. While exploring, the player may choose to take on side quests from various non-player characters that inhabit the game's world, as they commonly involve locating certain items or killing a certain number of enemy characters. When the necessary requirements are fulfilled, the quests complete automatically without the player needing to manually notify in-game characters of its completion. provided that the non-player characters are generic named, e.g., Colony 9 Resident and Defense Force Soldier. Item collection plays a role in the game in the form of the game's Collectopedia. Scattered across all major regions of the game are glowing blue orbs, and upon coming into contact with the orb, the player is awarded an item at random, which is added to the player's inventory. From there, the player may add the item to the Collectopedia, and when a certain number are collected during exploration, the player is rewarded with new items. Aside from the Collectopedia, there are also ether crystals to be found from fallen enemies or ether crystal deposits, which give the player access to a multifaceted gem crafting minigame, allowing for the creation of gems that may increase battle stats when equipped. Many in-game systems affect the general flow of gameplay. The Affinity system tracks the relationships between characters and locations in the game. Location Affinity tracks the interpersonal relationships between all of the game's named characters, depicting to which degree they get along with one another, and a town's general perception of the player's controllable party. Completing quests can alter perception of the characters, and open up additional story sequences. There is also Party Affinity, which is strictly the level of affection between each party member, ranging from indifference to love. These affinities can be raised by having characters participate in battle together, giving gifts, or using the heart-to-heart system. These heart-to-hearts are intimate moments between two characters that can show more of a character's personality, history, or thoughts, and can be initiated by having a certain level of affinity between them. The affinity system ties into how efficient characters work together in battle and gem crafting. The game also has an extensive customization system, which includes changing the characters' outfits and weapons. These changes are directly reflected in the game, appearing in the field and even during scripted event scenes. Battle system Xenoblade Chronicles has a real-time action-based battle system, where the player manually moves the current lead character in real time, and party members will auto-attack when enemies enter their attack radius. Manually input attacks, called arts, may also be performed by the player, but in a limited fashion. Battle arts are only available after a cooldown period that occurs after every use, while character-specific talent arts only become available after enough auto-attacks are executed. Both party members and enemies have a finite amount of health points, and attacks deplete this value. Combat is won when all enemies lose their HP, but the game is lost if the player's character loses all their HP and has no means of being revived. Health may be restored by the player by using healing arts in battle, or the player may let characters' HP regenerate automatically outside of battle. Winning battles earns the player experience points, which allows the characters to grow stronger by leveling up and learning new arts. Arts for each character must be set by the player on their respective setup, called a battle palette, outside battles. Several other systems are present to affect the flow of battle. The party gauge slowly fills as party members successfully land hits on the enemy players, and filling the gauge allows the player to chain multiple attacks together for extra damage. All party members have an aggro ring around them as well. The more actions a character performs, the larger it grows. Larger aggro rings lead enemies to focus their efforts on that respective character, leading to a strategic aspect of luring and diverting attention of enemies. Each character has a tension gauge, which represents a character's morale. At its highest point, characters have a high probability of dealing a critical blow and less chance of missing an enemy. The game's vision system, where main character Shulk can see glimpses of enemies' future attacks, also factors into battles. With knowledge of an enemy's potentially dangerous attack, the player can prevent it from happening by alerting a teammate, allowing the player to activate one of their arts, or by using an art of their own to stop the attack. The vision system is tied to the party gauge, which is filled by boosting team morale, using arts with special effects. and avoiding or dealing critical hits. The three-tiered gauge gradually depletes outside of battle, and one tier is needed to either revive characters or receive visions. When all three tiers are full, the party can execute a chain attack. Synopsis. Setting and characters. The setting of Xenoblade Chronicles originated in a world that was nothing but endless ocean, until two great titans, the Bionis and the Mechonis, came into existence. The two titans fought a timeless battle, until with one final strike, only their corpses remained, forever locked in combat. The gods have since become the home of multiple forms of life. The Bionis houses organic life forms including human-like Homs, the diminutive Nopon, and a race known as the Hyensha. The Mechonis is home to a hostile machine race known as the Machina. A key weapon in the battle by the Homs against the attacking Machina is the Monado, a mystical sword linked to the Bionis which grants visions of the future to its wielder. The game's main character is Shulk, a scientist who lives in the settlement of Colony 9 on Bionis. During an attack by Machina warriors, called Mechon, Shulk comes into possession of the Monado. During his journey, Shulk is joined by Rain, another childhood friend and headstrong member of the defense force, Dunban, a former wielder of the Monado and the brother of Shulk's childhood friend Fiora, Shala, a medic and sniper from Colony 6, Melia Antiqua, Crown Princess of the Hyensha and a half-blood, and Ricky, a member of the Nopon who is chosen as the hero of his village. Other important characters include Dixon, Shulk's mentor, Mumka, a cowardly soldier who was Dunban's rival for wielding the Monado, Eagle, leader of the Machina, and Alvis, a mysterious man who aids Shulk on his journey. Plot. The game's opening details events 1 year past, when Dixon, Dunban, and Mumka were fighting a Mechon army. Mumka deserts, and in the process of defeating the Mechon, the Monado paralyses Dunban's right arm. In the present, Shulk studies the Monado in Colony 9, where Dunban and Fiora live. Colony 9 is soon attacked by a group of Mechon led by a special face Mechon. Dunban is almost killed when he attempts to use the Monado again, prompting Shulk to use it. Shulk wields it with ease, and receives visions of the future from it. While the Mechon are driven back, the face Mechon proves immune to the Monado and kills Fiora before fleeing. Shulk decides to pursue and destroy the Mechon for revenge. Shulk sets out together with his lifelong friend Rain, and during their journey they are joined by Shala, a medic from the nearby Colony 6. After freeing her home from a Mechon occupation, the group is ambushed by the faced Mechon once again, revealing itself to be known as Metal Face. Dunban rejoins the group in the midst of the battle, fending off Metal Face's assault. Guided by a vision from Shulk, the group travels to the Hyensha capital at the head of the Bionis to gain entry to Prison Island. They are joined by Melia, Princess of the Hyensha, and Ricky, a light-hearted Nopon from Frontier Village. Shulk also meets Alvis, a cryptic comms who is revealed to share Shulk's ability to wield the Monado. Gaining entry, they encounter Zanza, a being who created the Monado and who offers Shulk the ability to destroy the face Mechon, revealed to be piloted by Homs. Though Shulk accepts, Zanza is apparently killed by Metal Face and another Mechon dubbed Face Nemesis during an attack on the capital. Shulk, however, focuses his power and unlocks Zanza's chains on the Monado, transforming the weapon. During the ensuing battle, Face Nemesis is damaged to reveal an alive yet amnesiac Fiora controlling it before retreating. While initially disheartened by this, Shulk is rallied by his comrades and sets out in pursuit of Metal Face and Fiora. On the snowy Valak mountain, Face Nemesis reveals itself to the group again, but Metal Face attacks before Fiora is able to speak. Metal Face reveals itself to be piloted by Mumka, anxious to take the Monado for himself and kill Shulk and Dunban. Eagle intervenes, however, revealing himself to be the creator of the Mechone. He spirits Fiora away. On the Sword of the Mechonis, the party finally kills Mumka, then face off against Eagle and Fiora. In the resultant fight, Shulk and Fiora are separated from the group. During their time together, Shulk successfully awakens Fiora's memories, and learns that another being was controlling her body. Reuniting with the group, they meet up with a friendly Machina named Vanny. She reveals that the Bionise and Mechonis were initially at peace, before the Bionise god Zanza launched an unprovoked attack. Since the battle a year before, Eagle has been working to convert the life of Bionise into Mechone to render the Monado useless. Going to face Eagle, Fiora is taken over by the other presence, the Machina goddess Maineth. Reaching Eagle as he reactivates the Mechonis, the group succeeds in preventing his attempted destruction of Bionise. Despite fighting him, Shulk manages to make Eagle see that they both wish for a return to peace. At this point, Dixon appears and murders Shulk, who is revealed to be possessed by Zanza, the god of the Bionise. Zanza uses the Monado to destroy Mechonis, stealing Maineth's own Monado from Fiora's body and ending the goddess's life in the process. The party narrowly escapes with Shulk's body, with Eagle sacrificing himself so they can escape. In the aftermath of the Mechonis destruction, pure-blooded Hyentia begin transforming into Telethea, beings whose one purpose is to purge Bionise of life. With life on Bionise in chaos, Shulk is revived after speaking with Alvis in a dream. He and the group manage to defeat his Telethea raid on Colony 6, although Alvis is revealed to be a disciple of Zanza. Making their way to Prison Island, they defeat first a Hyentia disciple, then Dixon. The party then travels to face Zanza, who declares the life of Bionise as simply his food and vessels. Zanza then offers Shulk the chance to become his new disciple. Shulk rejects the offer, and during the ensuing battle produces a third Monado. Prompted by Alvis, the spirit of the Monado, which Shulk uses to destroy Zanza. Alvis then shows Shulk Zanza's origins. Both Zanza and Maineth were originally human scientists from Earth, working to create a new universe aboard a space station. The experiment ended in disaster, obliterating the universe and causing Zanza and Maineth to be reborn as gods. Alvis was originally the artificial intelligence operating the experiment within the station. After the new universe's creation, Zanza and Maineth created life in their image. Zanza initiated an endless cycle of destruction and recreation on Bionise out of fear that he would eventually perish as awareness of him faded. With the current universe threatened with death, Alvis dubs Shulk as its new god and tasks him with recreating it. Honoring Maineth's dying wish, Shulk creates a world without gods, in which everyone can decide their own fates. In the new universe, the survivors of Bionise and Mechonis build a new settlement and live peacefully together. Fiora is restored to her Homs form, and both her and Shulk optimistically look forward to Alva's promise of endless worlds and races of people beyond their own.